So now I'm going to show everyone how we're going to start class. So if you have a blanket that you can use, that would be great. We're going to set that up now. So if you can fold it into a rectangle and kind of have a nice and long side like I do here. And you're going to lay it flat and then you're just going to roll it up. Okay, so you want to try to make it nice and smooth here without any bumps or anything. So I know that sounds a little bit extra maybe, but really trying to make it extra comfortable here, okay? So you want as few bumps as you can. And then we're gonna, once you have that rolled up here, okay, mine looks like that, you're just gonna place it on your mat here, okay? And from there, we're gonna come down into a heart opening Shavasana. Okay, so you're gonna sit down, not on the blanket, just after the very end of the blanket. And then you're gonna gently lie yourself back onto your blanket here and rest your head. Make sure your head is resting on the blanket, okay? And then you can just kind of relax here, let your feet splay open, maybe your palms face the ceiling. We want that blanket aligned with our spine here, okay? So if anyone has any questions, comments about that, feel free to ask in the chat, okay? But otherwise, just here with a nice relaxing position, trying to open up into our chest a little bit more than a normal Shavasana, where we would just be lying on the floor. Maybe tucking your chin a little bit. Just allow your shoulders to relax. Let them sag on either side of your blanket. Maybe gently close your eyes. Just tuning into your breath here. At first, just noticing your breath. Notice where it's at naturally, that natural pattern, rhythm of breathing. Then I want you to consciously try to deepen your breath, especially noticing your abdomen expand as you inhale. Notice your belly button come down back towards your spine as you exhale. Just continuing that. Maybe you want to place a hand or two on your belly to physically feel that. Okay, that pressure, a little bit of feedback might help. Just trying to slow your breathing down, slow and deep. And then trying to keep that deep breath here. I want you to also tune into your Ujjayi breath. And that's when we constrict the back of our throat a little bit to make this ocean-like sound. So we're still breathing normally. We want our mouth to be closed. The breath is still through our nose. You just constrict your throat a little bit so that you can hear your breath. Okay? Like you're listening into a seashell here. It's kind of the sound that you should hear. Try to do that both on the inhale and on your exhale. Just maybe setting an intention for your practice. We're going to be focusing on opening today, opening the extra tight parts of our body like our chest, especially if we're kind of hunched over a desk all day. And often our hips are also pretty tight, so we're going to work on those a little bit extra today. And just notice if you can allow your mind to also open up with it. Just taking a few more breaths here. Feeling your heart open up towards the ceiling. When you're ready, we're going to slowly move out of that position. So if you want to turn over to one side, that might be a good way to get up, okay? And then you're going to press yourself up with your palm and move your blanket off to the side, okay? And we're just going to turn around here, coming into our first child's pose. So our knees are going to be nice and wide, about mat distance apart, and then our toes are going to be together. Sit your hips back and down towards your heels, and reach your arms out in front of you. Rest your forehead down on your mat. Just let your armpits sink down towards your mat here, okay? And then feeling your breath again here. Noticing how as you inhale, your belly comes down towards your mat here. Okay, so we're allowing space for that in between our legs, so our knees are wide to allow that space. And as you exhale, you draw your belly back in towards your spine. On your next inhale, we're going to rise up here onto all fours. So we're going to stack our shoulders over our wrists and then our hips over our knees. Knees are going to be about hip distance apart here. And just really pressing into both palms and all 10 fingers, helping our wrists out here. We're coming into some cat-cow. So inhale, drop your belly, looking up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, we're going to round into our spine, looking towards your belly button. Inhale, arch your back, belly down, looking up. And as you exhale, round your spine, looking in. And just continuing here at your own pace, trying to move with your breath. Really exaggerating here our spinal flexion and extension. And then coming back towards a neutral spine, maybe take any other little movements you'd like. I like to bring my same shoulder to same hip, getting a nice stretch into our sides, or maybe you come into some hip circles. You're doing some hip circles, just make sure you switch directions so we get both sides. Okay. If you're doing those circles, go ahead and switch. Just taking a little bit of movement here that feels good for your body. And from here, coming back to our neutral spot again, our hips are going to stay stacked over our knees here, okay? So that's important for this next one. We're going to come into puppy pose, just walking our hands out in front of us really far here, and then keeping our hips in one place. We're going to just allow our shoulders to reach down here. Okay, and then your forehead can rest on your mat, or your chin can rest on your mat if you want a little bit more of an opener here. And just allow your armpits to sink down towards your mat, okay? They don't have to touch the mat or come anywhere close. We're just allowing our body to sink down here. Don't forget to breathe here. Take one more deep breath cycle. When you're ready, go ahead and inhale, release out of that here. Okay, from here, we're going to come into our first down dog. So planting our hands down again, Pressing into both palms and all 10 fingers, okay, to alleviate some pressure from our wrists. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, straighten into your legs for our first down dog here. Reach your hips up and back, finding length in your spine. Creating one line from our wrists all the way up to our hips and another from our hips down to our heels. And then inhale, reach your heels up high, coming onto your tippy toes. And then exhale, reach your heels down. And maybe bend one knee and bend your other knee. Getting comfortable in this pose here. Pulling it out, waking your body up. And then coming back to a neutral in our down dog, we're going to inhale, shifting forward. Our shoulders are going to stack over our wrists for a plank position, squeezing our glutes down. Engage your abs. You can always come down onto your knees for this. Okay, take a breath here. And then on your next exhale, bring it back to down dog. And inhale, reach it forward, plank pose. And exhale, back to down dog. One more here. Inhale, forward plank pose. And exhale, bring it back down dog. From here, we're going to slowly walk our feet in towards our hands here for a forward fold. You can release your hands up off the mat. Maybe grab opposite elbows. You can bend into your knees. Really release your head and neck here. Allow that to sag down. And maybe rock side to side a little bit, gently. And then let's roll up all the way to standing here. Last thing to come up is your head. Let's inhale our arms all the way up here. Exhale, your hands come to heart center at the top of your mat. Maybe just close your eyes for a moment. Bring back your intention for your practice today. And just tuning into your body and your breath here. And then slowly flutter your eyes open again. And then we're going to inhale our arms up, crossing all of our fingers here, except keeping our pointer finger released. Okay, from here, we're just going to inhale, reach up, lengthen up through your spine, ground into your feet, and then exhale. Let's do a little back bend here, okay? So not looking back behind you, just maybe up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, back bend just a little bit here. And on your next inhale, rising back up to center. Taking a clearing breath here. Release the grip. And then inhale to lengthen again. Exhale, folding forward, hinge from your hips. Keep your spine flat. Okay, inhale, lift up halfway. Your hands can come to your shins, just not right on your knees. Exhale, let's plant our hands, bring it back to down dog here. From here, coming into our Vinyasa options, shift forward as you inhale into plank. First option, drop your knees down. Coming down into knees, chest, chin. Hips stay up. Exhale, coming down here. Inhale, slither forward into Cobra Pose, just using our back strength here to lift us up, not too high. Curl your toes back under, down dog. Okay, another option here, shift forward, plank pose, inhale. Exhale, you can drop your knees or keep them up. Coming down into almost like a push-up here, chaturanga. Bending your elbows really close into your sides, like a tricep push-up, okay? And then hovering here, and then inhale, up dog. Okay, so a little bit different there. Exhale, down dog. Okay, so when we go through those, you can always choose which one is best for you today. Okay, let's walk our feet in towards our hands. Forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Keep your spine low. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lift up all the way here. Reach your arms up overhead. And exhale, right back down into our forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, plant your hands down, step it back, down dog. Let's lift our right leg up behind us, three-legged dog. Right foot is gonna step in between our hands here. Go ahead and lower your back knee down, untuck your back toe. We're gonna reach our arms up here. Okay, in our low lunge, try to release your hips down, let your hips sink down towards your mat. Okay, we're gonna come into a little back bend here. So inhale, lift up through your spine. Exhale, look up towards the ceiling. Just a little bit of a back bend here. Maybe reaching your arms back just a couple inches. Take a breath. And on your next inhale, rise back up. And let's bring our hands down to frame our foot. And then step it back down dog. Same on the other side here. Lift your left foot up. Three-legged dog. And step it in through your hands here. Lower your back knee. Uncurl your foot. Rising up here. Okay, take a breath. Allow your hips to sink down here. Try not to fight that. Just breathing into your hips. And then inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, reach it back. Just a little back bend here. Breathe. And inhale to rise back up. Exhale, frame your foot with your hands, step it back down dog. From here, shift forward to plank, inhale. Exhale, vinyasa of your choice here, okay? Maybe bring your knees down, exhale, lower. And on your next inhale, lift up to cobra or up dog here, okay? And then exhale, down dog. Let's walk our feet in towards our hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lifting all the way up here. Hands come to heart center. On your inhale, lift up all the way. Fold forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step it back, down dog. From here again, we'll lift our right leg up behind us. And go ahead and step it in between your hands here. Okay, and just starting to ground here. We're gonna keep our back heel up for this one. Back leg is nice and straight. Okay, our front knee is stacked just over our ankle and our front toes are pointing forward. All right, and from here, we're gonna allow our left palm to flatten onto the ground and rise your right arm up towards the ceiling. A nice little twist here. Breathing here, allow your hips to stay down. Try not to let them rise up too high, okay? Really grounding into your left palm and reaching up at the same time with your right fingertips. Keeping both feet rooted. And breathe. And then we'll try to rise up here through a twisted crescent lunge, slowly templing your fingertips, and then slowly lift up to our twisted crescent lunge. Try to keep a deep bend into our right leg. Breathe. One more breath here. Trying to stack our shoulders directly over our hips. And on your next exhale, bring it down, frame your front foot with your hands, step back, down dog. Take a breath. Inhale your left leg up this time. And let's step it forward in between our hands here. And just starting to ground again. Grounding both feet. Back heel stays lifted. Lift your back kneecap to straighten into your back leg. Lift your chest a little bit here. And breathe. Take a breath. And then we're going to plant our right hand down this time. Right palm comes down to the floor. If you have a block or anything, this is also a good place to use a block. Okay? Then we're going to reach our left arm up towards the ceiling into our twist. By really pressing into our right hand and reaching up with our left fingertips. Breathe. From here, we're going to inhale up to a twisted crescent lunge. Starting to temple our fingertips. Our right fingertips slowly come off the floor. Keep a deep bend into your front leg. Trying to stack our shoulders over our hips. Okay. Back leg stays straight, front leg is bent. And breathe here. Take a breath. Really twisting. Try to keep your tailbone pointed down towards your mat. On your next exhale, bring it back down into our lunge and then step it back, down dog. Let's slowly walk our feet in towards our hands again. Forward fold and inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up, rise up. Palms to heart center. Take a clearing breath here. And then on your inhale, rise your arms up. We're gonna sit it down into chair pose. Exhale, sit down here, bringing the weight into your heels, bend your knees, sit your hips back behind you. And just breathe here, okay? Keeping length in your spine. And then exhale, forward fold, straighten into your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back, down dog. And let's inhale, lift your right leg up behind you. Step it in between your hands here. I'm just turning around so I can see you all. Okay, we're gonna spin our back heel down, cartwheel your arms up here into a warrior two. Okay, so our front heel is just about in line with the middle of our back foot. Bending into our front knee, straight back leg. Shoulders are gonna stack just about over our hips. Breathe here. Try to open your right knee out so it stacks just over our ankle. Coming into side angle pose, take an inhale, breathe up. Exhale, reaching forward with your front arm and slowly lower your right elbow towards your right thigh. Reach your left arm up. Maybe look up towards your arm. Arm can also come down to your hip. Opening into your chest here. Try to stay active in your right leg as well. Keep the bend in your right knee. On your next inhale, rise on up back to warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior. Lower your back arm down. Flip your top arm up. And then reach it up and back. Okay? So for this one, we're trying not to do a back bend here, just more of a side stretch. Okay? Keep a bend in your front knee. Breathe. And inhale, bring it back to our warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel your arms down, step it back, down dog. Let's inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice here. Maybe drop your knees. Exhale, come down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Okay. Take a breath here. And from your down dog, lift your left leg up now. Step it through in between your hands and coming back to our warrior two on the other side. Open up, lift up. Bending into our front knee, straight back leg. Arms really reaching to either side here. Activating both of our legs, bringing weight into both heels and bringing them almost like you want to bring your heels together. Okay, so we're not literally going to bring our heels together, but kind of that feeling of activation. Okay, maybe look over your left fingertips. Inhale to lengthen into your spine. Exhale, reaching forward with your front arm, and then slowly, slowly allowing yourself to tip. And left elbow comes towards your left thigh. Right arm reaches up or comes down to your hip. Maybe looking up, open into your chest. Keeping your front leg bent. One deep breath. And on your next inhale, slowly rising back up, warrior two. Exhale, drop your back arm down, flip your top arm up, and reach up and back. Remember, getting a nice side stretch here. Take a breath, and your reverse warrior. And then exhale, release it all, bring your hands back down, step back down dog. Inhale to plank, exhale down, vinyasa of your choice. Inhale, lift up, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. From here, step your feet in towards your hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lifting all the way up here. Hands come to heart center. Okay. From here, we're going to turn to one side, take a big step out. Okay. So for this first one, our heels are going to be together or towards one another. And then our toes are going to be turned out. Okay. Heels in, toes out. And from here, we're going to bend into our knees. Make sure your knees are stacked just over our ankles. We want them going the same direction as our toes are going. Okay, and then we're going to reach our arms up. Maybe they come into a little cactus shape here. This is goddess pose. Bringing the weight into your heels. Bring your chest back here so that your shoulders are stacked over your hips. And deepen. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, deepen the pose. Sink your hips down a little bit more. Let's exhale our arms down onto our thighs. Okay, from here we're going to inhale, lengthen, lift up. And you're going to twist towards your right here, dropping your left shoulder down in between your legs. Take a breath here in our twist. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist towards your left now, dropping your right shoulder down. Take a breath. Inhale back up to center. Let's rise all the way up, straighten out your legs. Now we're going to bring our feet parallel or toes slightly turned in. Inhale, arms out to the side. Exhale, we're going to hinge forward from our hips. Nice straight back. If you have a water bottle or something that you'd like to place your hands on here in our wide-legged forward fold. Okay, go ahead. Keeping our spine long, inhale to lengthen. And exhale to hinge a little bit further from your hips. Okay, maybe you stay right here. Maybe your hands come towards the floor. Just releasing down. You can have a tiny bend in your knees. Take another breath here in your wide-legged forward fold. On your inhale, we'll slowly rise back up here. Okay, so maybe bring your hands to your hips again and slowly lift up, keeping your spine long. All the way up here. Then let's step it back towards the front of our mat. Try and turn arm around here. Inhale your arms up, lift up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step it back, down dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, vinyasa of your choice here. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, down dog. Bring it into a child's pose here. So knees wide, toes together. Sit your hips back and down. And just take a few breaths here. Letting yourself relax into this pose. If you need any water, go ahead and grab some. How are we all doing? Good? You can give a thumbs up. I'm a little bit far away from my computer just so you can see all of me and what I'm doing, but if you're close by. All right. So we're coming towards, not quite yet, but soon we'll come towards our kind of peak pose today. A big chest opener, okay, heart opener. And that's going to be camel pose. So I'll lead us through that when we get there. Okay, but if anyone's in here, if you have a couple of blocks or a couple water bottles that have a nice flat surface, maybe you want to grab those. If not, totally fine. I'll lead us all through a version that you don't need that for. Okay, so coming back into our child's pose, meeting there if you're not there already. Press ourselves up to down dog. Let's inhale, shift forward, plank pose. Exhale, vinyasa again here of your choice. Coming down, keep your shoulders back. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. One more time here. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, release down. Maybe drop your knees, always an option. Inhale, lift up, up dog or cobra. Exhale, shift back, down dog. Let's walk our feet in towards our hands here. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up all the way. Hands come to heart center here. Beautiful. Let's inhale, lift arms up. Exhale, bring it into a chair pose here. Weight in your heels. Almost like you can lift your toes up. Maybe wiggle your toes, see if the weight is shifted enough to do that. Keep your arms nice by your ears here. Breathe. And let's exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, plant your hands down, step back, down dog. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, release down, vinyasa of your choice here. Keep your shoulders up, spine long. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Let's walk our feet in towards our hands here, and we're going to come into Melasana Squat now. Okay, so for this one, we want our heels to be slightly in, toes slightly out. Okay, if you have your blanket available still, and your heels may not touch the ground here, you can use your blanket as an elevator here for your knees, or for your heels. So we're going to drop our buns down, okay, bend into your knees. Again, if you want to use your blanket, you can fold it up as many times as you'd like, and just place it under your heels here, okay? If you have a block or something to sit on, you can also use that. If you're ever wanting to work on Malasana, okay, that's good, and you can elevate it as much as you want there, okay? See how we're just adding height, okay? So go ahead and try any of those. Right, otherwise, we're just trying to open into our chest here as we open our hips as well. Go ahead and press your legs, your inner legs into your arms, or maybe more of the opposite, right? Pressing your arms into our inner legs. And then bring your hands to heart center if that's available to you. Breathing here, trying to lengthen into our spine. Often the tendency here is to kind of round into it. So try to inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale, sink down. And just breathe here in your squat. I know this is a lot into the hips. Okay, so just breathing through that. All right, I don't know if you all can hear it. My brother is cracking up upstairs, playing a lot of video games and having a lot of fun with it. All right, and we're gonna slowly move ourselves out of our Malasana, but try to move your props away if you have any. And let's sit on down here. Coming into boat pose. Roll your shoulders back and down. Okay, lengthen your spine, and then slowly hinging back. Okay, or if you can stay on the floor here, or you can slowly lift your feet up, maybe 1 foot at a time. You can kind of alternate here. Okay, that's up to you. Wherever your legs are, your arms might want to come up on either side. Flip our palms up towards the ceiling. And just breathing here. Take a few breaths. You can always release your feet down to the mat here, okay? We're still getting that engagement into our core. Okay, if we just lean back just a little bit more here, you'll feel more pull in those muscles. And breathe. One more deep breath here in your boat pose. And then exhale, we'll slowly lower down to the floor. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Maybe rock side to side a little bit. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly start to rock along our spine. Okay, up and down. And then we're going to try to roll up to Malasana. Okay? So planting your feet, and then we're going to open our feet up nice and wide here again. Heels and toes out, and squatting down into our Malasana. Okay, again, using our blanket if we would like that. Okay, opening into our chest here as well. Bring your palms together, opening into your inner thighs. Breathe. All right, and go ahead and release your Malasana. We'll just come onto our knees here. If you need any water or anything, go ahead and grab that. We're going to come towards our peak pose, our camel pose. I'm just going to let my cat in because he's scratching at the door. All right, sorry about that. So if you have a blanket and you have kind of sensitive knees or you're on a harder surface, you might want to use that for this pose. It'll be kind of a nice padding there, okay? Doesn't need to be super high, just to pad our knees here, okay? So to get into our camel pose, we're gonna have our knees about hip distance, a little bit wider maybe, okay? You can kind of try out what feels good to you here. If you have blocks or a water bottle, or 2 water bottles, you're just gonna place the blocks on the outside of your ankles here. Okay, so nice and close to your ankles, just on the outside. Toes are gonna be pointed back here. All right, and you're gonna be up nice and tall. Okay, tuck your tailbone down towards your mat. Okay, so to come into camel pose, I'm gonna start to cue. Maybe you wanna watch first and then join, it's up to you. If you've done it before, go ahead and go for it. Okay, but I'm just gonna start cueing and then I'll cue 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, just continue the cues before that, okay? So let's go ahead and start by placing our palms at our lower back, okay? So throughout this pose, we want to keep our hips stacked over our knees. The tendency is to bring our hips back with our upper body, with our torso. So try to use your hands as feedback here to help you keep your hips forward. So we inhale, we're going to lengthen into our spine, reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, keeping your hips stacked over your knees, slowly start to back bend here. Eventually, kind of letting your head look back towards the ceiling and maybe even towards the back wall, the wall behind you. Okay, so we can keep ourselves right here. Your hands can stay at your lower back or on your hips, okay? But maybe you want to lower your hands down to some blocks and further release your head down here, keeping your hips forward. Maybe even release down to your heels, as long as you can keep your hips forward here. Breathe into your camel pose. Keep our hips forward, keep breathing. Staying in your comfort zone here, okay? We don't want to push too far. On your next inhale, slowly rise back up to our neutral position here. Okay, not moving too fast at all here. I want you to just release down to sit on your heels, okay? See, my cat joined us. He's gonna do some yoga too. So just allowing your body to feel the effects of that pose, just sitting down on your heels for a moment can kind of often feel kind of a head rush from that, okay? So just taking a breath and allowing ourselves to feel that, okay? All right, so we're gonna do one more set of our camel pose, okay? But just fully recovering from that one. If you need to do any movements that will help you out, maybe a little side to side movement, maybe a little seated cat-cow. And then when you're ready, we'll come back up to our second camel pose. All right, that's big boy, he says hi. Okay, camel pose here. Again, your knees are gonna be hip distance or a little bit further. You can set up your blocks or water bottles again if you liked that, or try that out. And then our hips are gonna stack right over our knees, okay? Our hands are gonna come to the lower back here. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale, little back bend here. And maybe you stay here. This is perfect, this is Camel Pose. Maybe you inhale, lengthen, exhale, come a little deeper. Don't forget to breathe throughout the pose here. Inhale, lengthening, keeping your hips forward. Exhale, backwards bending. Opening into your chest, try to bring your elbows towards one another a little bit. One more breath. On your inhale, rising back up to center, and slowly release your hips down towards your heels. Okay. So now we're going to start to kind of release from that and do some counter poses here, but we don't want to go too fast. So go ahead and move your blanket out of your way. We're just going to lengthen our spine again here through child's pose. Bring your toes together and knees wide. Re-lengthening our spine here. Feel your hips really reach down towards your heels. Go ahead and release your child's pose. From here, we're going to come into rabbit pose. So we're going to really round into our spine on this one, counteracting that camel pose. Okay, so sitting on our heels here, you might want to watch this one. If you haven't done this one before, we really don't want to be turning our head back and forth or side to side in this pose. So just be conscious of that. Once you get in it, don't look at your screen by turning your head. Okay, so I'm going to first grab onto my heels behind me. It's a little hard to grab until you get into the pose a little bit more fully. But inhale, lift up, lengthen your spine. Exhale, we're going to tuck our chin in towards our chest and slowly start to roll down. Rounding into our spine, and then we're going to slowly lift our hips up as we allow the top of our head to come down towards our mat, lifting our hips up almost like a forward roll. Lift, lift, lift. Okay, so if you want to slowly move yourself into that, again, we'll go through it together here, okay? Grabbing the back of your heels, inhale, lengthen up, exhale, roll down. Roll, 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 let the crown of your head come down to your mat, really close to your knees here. Lift your hips up and forward, like you're about to do a roll. Try not to bring too much weight into your head here, okay? Most of the weight stays in our legs, in our knees, in our shins, and our toes, and our feet. Breathe here, round into your spine. Feel that tension from pulling on your heels. And on your next inhale, we'll slowly roll up. Last thing to come up is our chin above our chest. Beautiful. Okay, so that was a nice kind of counter pose to our big heart opener there. Okay, let's come into down dog here. Plant your hands, lift your hips up and back. Coming into pigeon pose. Inhale your right leg up, and exhale, your right knee is going to come towards your right wrist, and your right heel can come towards your left hip. Okay, if you have any knee problems, go ahead and turn over for figure 4, where our ankle is going to stack over our left thigh. Okay, it's the same pose there as pigeon. Working the same muscle there, stretching the same muscles. Okay. From here, take a breath, upright in your pigeon, and then maybe exhale, coming down to a block or to your forearms for more sleeping pigeon here. And once you've found that, just go ahead and release your head and neck. Really relaxing into our pose here, trying to keep your hips even over the mat here. We don't want one hip to be coming down, rolling down, right? So try to stay up there. One more breath here in pigeon. On your next inhale, slowly rising back up. And then let's curl our back toe under and reach it back, down dog. Inhale your left leg up behind you. And left knee is going to come towards your left wrist here. Left heel towards your right hip. And just inhale, lift up. Again, going on to the other side of figure 4 here on your back if you have any knee issues, okay, or if this bothers your knee at all. And maybe go ahead and release down to the sleeping pigeon. Forearms come down to a prop or to your mat. And then release your head and neck. Again, keeping your hips even over the mat. Try not to let your left hip sink down. And on your next inhale, go ahead and rise back up here, making our way to down dog. So let's walk our feet in towards our hands and go ahead and sit on down. We're going to come into a forward fold here. So straightening into your legs, flex your feet. So both our pinky toes and big toes are flexing back towards us. Let's inhale, ground into your sit bones. Maybe move the flesh of your bum out of the way here. Okay, inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, slowly start to walk forward into our forward fold. You can have a little bend in your knees. We want to keep our spine long. Okay, so eventually our tummy would first come to our thighs, and then eventually the rest of our body would come down there. And then once you feel that kind of edge, maybe allow your head and neck to release down. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale to hinge forward just a little bit more. Feeling a nice stretch in our hamstrings, the back of our legs. Try to keep the flex in your toes. On your next inhale, slowly rise back up to seated. And then exhale, we're going to let ourselves come all the way down to our back. Make sure you have room behind you and slowly lower, maybe testing your core, see where it's a little bit harder to go slow. And just releasing all the way down to the mat here. We have a few more poses we're going to do and then make our way towards Shavasana. Okay. So go ahead and bend into your knees. Feet are flat on the floor here. Okay, we're going to come into bridge pose. Make sure your feet are facing forward. We want our knees to be about hip distance apart here. Okay, from here, we're going to slowly press our hands down into our mat and rise our hips up. One vertebrae of our spine at a time. From here, you can stay here, maybe clasp your hands underneath. You roll your shoulders underneath. Keeping your hips rise, rising. And don't forget to breathe here. Chin is towards our chest. Keep your breath. One more deep breath here and bridge. And on your next exhale, we'll slowly lower down. Move your arms out of the way and slowly roll down. Okay, from here we're going to come into a spinal twist. Bring our shins parallel to the ground. Slowly lower your knees to one side. Outstretch your arms nice and long like a T. And then we're going to look over, look in the opposite direction that your knees are lying. Releasing our spine here. We're going to stretch in our obliques. On your next inhale, slowly rise your knees back up, and then we'll slowly lower down to the other side. And again, looking in the other direction. Breathing to your lower back. And on your next inhale, let's bring our knees back up to neutral here. And then give your knees a little hug in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. And maybe coming to happy baby here, grabbing the outsides of your feet. And then re-ground your lower back by your sacrum. And then keeping your knees bent out on either side of your torso. Maybe rock side to side. Getting a nice little stretch in our hips. And then if you need any other movements, go ahead and take them now. Otherwise, we're going to make our way towards Shavasana, our final resting pose. If you liked that one version that we did in the beginning with the blanket, you can do that again. You're more than welcome to do that. Okay, otherwise, sorry, just checking on everyone here. Okay, looks good. Otherwise, go ahead and release all the way down to your spine. Maybe roll your shoulders down so that you feel your shoulder blades are flat on your mat. Let your feet splay open, palms up towards the ceiling. Allow yourself to take up space here. Okay, let your arms have space away from your body. And gently close your eyes. Just feeling, noticing how we feel now. The effects of that practice. And just letting ourselves receive that. When you're ready, slowly starting to bring yourself back into the room. Wiggling your fingers, your toes, rolling your wrists, and your ankles. And take a big, nice stretch. Bring your arms up above your ears. Like you just woke up, big stretch. And then you can stay here for a moment or turn over onto one side. And just rest your head on your outstretched arm. Knees can curl in towards your chest. Just take a breath here in fetal position. And when you're ready, go ahead and press yourself up to a seated position. Just sitting cross-legged here, ending our practice together. A few announcements, logistics to shout out to you all in just a moment, but ending our practice here, sitting up nice and tall, feel your sit bones ground into your mat, roll your shoulders back and down, lengthen your spine, tuck your chin. Bring my hands to heart center here. I want to thank you all so much for joining me this evening. Thank you for sharing your practice with me and joining me. Namaste.